Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Skulk. Continuing the story of swindling men. We have cheaters in our midst. I know for our benefit, but holy crap, this just makes it feel so wrong. I'm glad they're okay though. I'm glad they're okay. But gosh dang it. Now we have lies on our head. When we all get on the ship, it starts to set sail within moments. It seems that Ulrich and Pro want to expedite our departure from Alarenthia. They continue to look at us with smiles on their faces. To themselves, they had succeeded. But in what exactly? That's what I demand to know as I step forward. If I was in charge, I couldn't have them plotting behind my back. Everybody gathers around to listen as our ship gently rocks back and forth. Though relieved that there were no real casualties, are you certain? People died still. I know if I chose the other path, yes, people will still die, but there's a dishonorable death. They dishonored their death. Anyways, we needed to know what we got into. If they wanted to leave so fast, was it so bad that we could never come back to Alarenthia?
Whoa, it's not that bad, trust me. But it's definitely the biggest score of my life. I mean, swindle an entire nation? Amazing!
Vivian wants to change the land, and if they eventually, if any way, find out that it was cheating, Draku will destroy Vivian and all that he has. Everyone will not even mind or blink, bat an eye, I think, for a cheating win. They would not want to listen to him. So, is that really the way you wanted to go with? He continues talking, his pride apparent.
It all started after the attack on our HQ. Domek cheated death, and we rose from the ashes. Then, we were going to Alarenthia, where I knew we'd be fighting. So I thought, what if we could cheat death again, but to our advantage? There was so much room for error that we stepped in to even the odds. I knew that Ulrich would side with Vivian regardless, so I went to him.
Cat here.
I didn't want to work with Pro at first. It seemed like a plan doomed to failure. Could we really cheat an entire nation, right in front of their own eyes? Obviously it sounds impossible, but Pro was pretty insistent. He came up with a solid plan. I'd fight with Vivian, and he'd fight with Draku. If we were both on opposing teams, we could throw the battle in any direction. So that's what we did. We ensured victory for the side the Monarch chose.
Huh? But then either side, when finds out, if so, it would be dishonorable on the other, and Draku wants honor in every way. So having it be dishonorable, he would hate us so much.
It was easy enough to manipulate Draku. I mean, he thought he was the one manipulating us. But it was my plan all along to fight by his side. After that, all we needed was this.
He holds up a dagger, the same one he used from the Colosseum. Stabbing it through his hand, that's when the true nature of the weapon was revealed. Rather than piercing his hand, the blade sunk into the handle of the dagger. It was a fake.
Along with some chaos and acting, they'd believe the battle was over. The chaos, of course, was the moment the Monarch used the blade. We pushed you toward using it so we could have our opportunity.
I despise you.
That's really all there is to it. None of you could know until it was already over. If information was leaked, everything would be for nothing.
Fair enough on that, but fair enough on a dishonorable attack. Boy. I said my piece. Let's just get on with the story.
You're free to come back to Alarinthia, but we might stay behind. It was just in our best interest to get away before they figured things out. So yeah, a new alliance, minimal casualties, and a great story.
Not a great story, man.
I'd say this was an all-around success, wouldn't you?
Yeah! I can't believe we really pulled it off. I think this might just be my masterpiece.
They wait in silence for our response. But their faces are beaming with pride. I can totally see Ulrich's beaming with pride. I can see a single smile on his face. It seemed like a simple enough plan, but it was definitely risky. The moment we set foot on in the Colosseum, they were in real danger. That only shows off their resolve. They were willing to die for this. However, something feels off about this. It's all too perfect, too convenient. I'm not sure. Ulrich was willing to throw everything away. I mean, I sided with Vivian, but that wasn't a guarantee. Had I sided with Draku, he'd lose his chance to change Alarinthia. There had to be more to the story. Something they're not telling us. I'd have to talk to them in private later on. Maybe they could confide in me. But as it stood, I didn't really buy their tale. Would they really risk their lives for a foreign alliance? My comrades seemed to think so, and they showered them with praise.
That might be the coolest thing I've ever heard. I knew you were a swindler pro, but this is crazy. You're using your skill to shape Alestia's history.
And Ulrich, I never knew you were so good at acting. You really had me sold there. I almost can't believe it. It felt like something was up, but to think it was this?
Almost puts my strategizing to shame, I have to say. So what's the next step? Is it just smooth sailing now? I imagine our chances of getting caught are pretty low.
You should probably tell Vivian what really went down. I doubt he'd mind, and at least he wouldn't find out another way. In the meantime, we need to have a word with our new prisoner.
Right, I'll tell him while you do that then. But I think we've also earned some much needed rest. Let's take the day off and meet back up here in the morning. That is, if it's okay with you, Monarch.
No sleep for anybody. I nod and tell everybody that they're dismissed. Everybody runs off except for Ulrich and Pro. They approach me and they look anxious.
Sylvia's in the brig, right? Can't believe he surrendered. Just like that.
And I heard him say something about a mole? Let's go talk with him, Monarch. You deserve some answers.
Yeah, let Dominic pamper Vivian for the time being. But before we head to the brig, look behind us, Monarch. It's starting to look like an impressive army, isn't it?
I do as instructed and notice that we're accompanied by at least a dozen ships. If that was the strength of our new Alarinthi army, then I was at a loss for words. That fleet, combined with our own and my blade, stood a real chance at Balteus. But I couldn't lull myself into a false sense of security. There's still so much to do. And right now, the next step was having a word with Sylvie. Just what was he after? The fact that Ulrich and Pro volunteered to come along was also pretty peculiar. The pieces have started to fall into place, but there's still quite a few gaps. Maybe this information that Sylvie promised would help me in some way. We all headed down to the brig, and I'm hopeful that I could figure this all out. After all, I could leave no question unanswered before attacking Balteus. And resting in our brig was the one man who knew everything about our enemy. If we can use him for information, then that would be an incredible boon. As we enter the brig, one fact plays on repeat on my ever-running mind. With everything we just gained, we actually stand a chance at winning this war. I actually want to ask you guys this, if you were to comment on this. What would be your choice without this knowledge? And how would you feel if you chose Vivian like I did? How would you feel about all the things that came up? Would you still be liking Draku? Even if he's a brute force, he's honorable? And would you be down with the swindle? The little act that went down? Would you be happy? I'm happy that he's not dead, but are you happy that it was a cheat? I don't know. I hate dishonesty. I know lives of our people will be fallen. But if this is how it was, the Coliseum was meant to be done, to win a side to help us, people that volunteered to fight in it knew what they were going with. They would set their lives on the line, and so would I. If I fell, I knew I would want to know that I fell because people were doing this honorably, and whatever side won, they would help. This would suck. To me, I am feeling very dirty. Even if I wasn't the action on it, I was on the side that cheated. Besides, I think the other side would be cheating anyways, because it said no matter who I chose to side with, they would have done this anyways. So, bottom line, what would you guys choose? If you wish to comment on it. Okay. The brig is dark, and we can't see much at all. This is until our eyes adjust, and we immediately see Sylvie. He's broken free from his binds, and he's doing pull-ups from the ceiling beam. Grunting with exertion, he lets himself fall to the ground when he notices our entrance. Taking a few steps towards us, he's careful not to make any sudden movements. Pearl makes sure the cell door is shut and locked, so he can't escape from us.
My, I wasn't expecting an entourage. Should I be flattered or concerned for my safety?
I don't know. We just wanted to hear you out. An obvious attempt at humor, but none of us acknowledge this. Ulrich steps forward, demanding swift answers from our captive.
Explain yourself, Sobi. I'm seconds away from throwing you overboard.
Again with the hostility. Look, I don't even really know what I'm doing here. It just felt like the right thing to do, given the circumstances.
What circumstances?
Sylvie looked at me and shakes his head dismissively.
Back when we attacked your HQ in Mazeo, my goal was to kill your friend and retrieve the blade. I failed both objectives, and the Triumvirate punished me.
I see.
It's true. Sylvie did show me mercy during our brief encounter. He had my life in his hands, but he chose to run away instead. He saw something when he touched the blade. I could tell. And now that I know the truth of the spirit realm, I think I knew what he saw. The monarchy. He must have seen the same truth that shocked us all. I ask if that's true, almost certain that I'm correct. He then confirms.
You are correct. I found out that the Triumvirate was lying to me. I let you live because I wasn't sure of what to do next. I'm still uncertain. When I got back to Balteus, they punished me by placing me in exile.
You expect us to believe this? Sobi, you're nothing but a mindless slave. The monarch survived because of his strength.
I tell Ulrich that Sylvie is speaking the truth. I explained what happened while we were alone in near the idol.
See, Ulrich? You're always so paranoid. Listen to your friends before making snap judgments. I have a lot to say, so you better learn to trust me again.
Don't count on it.
He walks away and stands on a nearby corner. On it, not in it. You can't stand in a corner. You have to stand on it. Just walk up the wall and there you go. Whoops.
So, what did you want to tell us? Around here, you need to earn your keep. Ulrich was serious about throwing you overboard.
Well, this is where it gets complicated. I still consider myself a servant to the Triumvirate. But Halen? Well, I want nothing more than to see him fall. I'm not here to hurt any of you. Not this time. As you can see, even though I broke out of my binds, I am playing nice. Right now, all I can offer is information to aid your attack on Balteus.
And why would you want to help us take down the Triumvirate?
Doing so would involve taking down Halen as well. He sold me out and got me into this whole mess.
Okay, and let's say we take down Halen. What then? You'd be reinstated as Inquisitor and just stab us in the back.
You speak as if people aren't capable of playing both sides. Either way, I don't know. I'd make my choice when the time comes.
And what makes you say that so easily? You've served the Triumvirate for your entire life.
No, not my entire life. They welcomed me with open arms when I was young and broken. Now here they are, inflicting the same wounds they had promised to heal.
Is that supposed to make sense to me?
No, because it barely makes sense to me. Now, Pro, will you let me say what I have to say?
Sure.
Sylvie sighs and crosses his arms.
If you want to take down the Triumvirate, you'll have to enter their chambers. I've never seen them leave, and I don't expect that they ever will. I always thought they were hiding, but I don't think that's true. There's something at the back of their chambers. Something off. It's like a spirit idol, but the very sight of it fills me with fear. I'm not sure what it is, but I have a few theories about it.
I'm shocked. This is my shocked sound. He's actually telling the truth. I've seen this idol in my visions with the Triumvirate. Could it really be true? Is he doubting his masters?
I think that maybe it's their source of power. But I'm probably wrong, as that seems to be the trend lately. Either way, its destruction should be your top priority.
They were insisting I destroy it in a dream, though. It lines up with what I was told in my visions. But I was unsure if those visions were tricks. In them, I was drawn towards the special idol.
A spirit idol in their own chambers? But those are conduits for the monarchy. It makes no sense that they'd keep one close by. Their main goal was to destroy all of the idols. Nice try, but I'm not going to believe any of this. Let's go, Monarch. We'll ditch him in Mazeo.
Crow and Ulrich start to leave, but I tell them to stop. I let them know that Sylvie's telling the truth, as odd as it sounded. I saw the same idol in some visions I had of the Triumvirate's chambers.
Visions of the Triumvirate's chambers.
Yeah.
When were you going to tell us about this?
I was needing to be sure about this. I could tell you anything and everything that pops out of my head, but I don't know what I wanted. I was unsure of what I was thinking. I thought it was a trick, because after all that happened, like the visions, I thought that Ulrich was going to attack us in our village, and our village was burning down, and I found out that the Triumvirate was invading my mind with other thoughts. I thought this might have been a trick. I didn't know if I should give you this information, and then yeah, I didn't know if it was a trick. Sylvie scoffs, clearly amused in their reactions.
I'm not finished yet.
Our attention is directed back towards him. Yes?
I suggest that your attack focuses on entering their chambers. There, you could take down both them and this dark idol. However, you would have to fight your way through Halen. And that's where my next piece of information comes in. Halen may seem just like you and I, but he's not. The Triumvirate created him with that blade.
Oh. What?
He was made to be the perfect soldier. He would always serve his masters, no matter what. Little did I know that loyalty was stronger than our friendship. He promised not to tell them what happened. But the moment we got home, he sold me out immediately. He lives under the Triumvirate's thrall. A true, mindless slave.
And I'm telling you this, it's still up to you guys if you want to watch it or not. If I do have a playthrough on burping, on another story that has this blade in it, with similar factors, called Major Minor. It's also a long story. I apologize. But sometimes a good story is. It's up to you if you want to watch it, or quote-unquote listen. It's not quote-unquote. Quote-unquote watch it. You're mostly listening to it. But you watch it too, because there's images, people... And I'm doing the voices. There's no voiceovers in that. But point is... this has a few same features. But it's a really good story regardless.
You must never let them get their hands on that blade again. They aren't limited to suits of armor. They've mastered it enough to create life. Of course, their first test was Halen. They needed someone trustworthy enough to serve them. I think they did it to ensure that nobody else ran away. My previous master, the former Grand Inquisitor, defected. I trusted Halen and the Triumvirate. They all betrayed me. But there's your information. I'm sure it will help you out. A possible weakness, and the true nature of Halen. With that blade, you could even give him freedom. It would release the spell that the Triumvirate has put on him. Of course, that's not how I'd like things to play out.
He smirks at me, and I can sense what he is about to say.
I would prefer it if you let me kill him, Monarch. That is all I ask for in return. I won't get in your way. If you grant me this, I would be further in your debt.
I don't want to be in debt, I want to do the right thing. And if someone is mentally mind-blocked, that's how it works, actually, mentally. You can't mentally body block. Maybe you could. Mind games. But still, if someone is able to be saved, then who am I to say they must die? I don't know. We look all at each other, one another to oneself, and we all look at one another, slightly confused. The Triumvirate created Halen to be the perfect slave? I guess it makes sense, especially if they dealt with defection. But just what was this idol in the back of the chamber? And was destroying it really the best course of action? Guess we wouldn't find out until the very end of things.
So, do you trust me?
Hello, Aladdin. How you doing? Do you have a magic carpet down there? I don't want to jump off the balcony and... We all nod reluctantly. These facts weren't revelations, but they helped. If I could free Halen, he might end up being a valuable asset. However, the idol remained a true wild card in all of this. If I ever got the chance to talk to the Triumvirate, I'd ask them. But something tells me, if we're face to face, it wouldn't be civil. And for all I know, it's just a trick. The idol could be a real herring, a real red herring.
Good. Because there's 2 more things to talk about. And now that I've earned your trust, you have no reason to doubt them. I saved them for last because, well, it involves dishonesty among your ranks.
Well, I kind of sense 2 of them right now, but they were doing it for the army, for the assistance of our for attack on Balteus. So I see why they did it, but it still was dishonest. It must be about that mole you mentioned. I tell him to quit dancing around the subject and tell me. We had a lot of planning to do for our final attack, and every little and very little, and every little very little time. Why is my mind thinking of words that are not even there?
Well then, do you 2 want to tell him, or should I?
Pro and Ulrich shuffle in silence, clearly in a state of unease. What was Sylvie talking about? There's no way Ulrich and Pro were dishonest. Are you certain about that? They had served Dominic and Salas for decades. They were easily the most trustworthy. But how deep does a mole have to dig in order to become the true mole?
I guess it's time. I'll go first.
Ulrich steps forward, taking a deep breath. Sylvie watches with his signature smirk.
My allegiance is with the rebellion. I can promise you that. But that wasn't always the case. It's all in the past. Ages ago. Sylvie is trying to harm our trust with ancient information, Monarch. I knew this was going to happen. He'd earn your trust with a couple of interesting facts, and then attack. This is subterfuge. My past has no bearing on my current loyalty. But I knew this secret would come out sooner or later. That's the real reason I sided with Pro to cheat the Colosseum. You'd know my loyalty was with you, no matter what.
They're putting some heavy mind games on us right now. That much is true. He had no guarantee that I'd side with Vivian. He didn't have to, in the end, but he was willing to abandon his dreams. That was proof enough of his loyalty, but I was still a bit concerned.
Delaying, as always. He's scared of you, Monarch. He knows you might throw him away.
I'm just confused because all you guys are trying to get into my brain.
No. The Monarch would never do that. Not after what I did for our cause in Alarinthia. So go ahead, Sylvie. Watch your plan crumble and fall.
I notice a weight lifts itself from my back. Woo! There it goes. The blade disappears from my scabbard. Sylvie is doing it again. However, much to my surprise, that's not what happens next. Ulrich sighs, in both relief and fright, as the blade appears in his hands. I take a few steps back, shocked. How in the world was that possible?
Grand Inquisitor Ulrich. That was lifetimes ago. Ancient history. He's using a dead past to try and hurt us, Monarch.
Ulrich was a Grand Inquisitor? Oh! Hi, how you doing? Then he must be the defector that Sylvie mentioned. The pieces of all this are starting to fall into place. Have you tried to make a puzzle by dropping pieces into place? Not very accurate. I don't think you'll ever get it done.
I realized that the Triumvirate was my true enemy. That's when I decided to join the rebellion. You really thought this would work, Sylvie?
I never said I was intending to hurt you. This is merely information that might help you in Balteus. Ulrich has inside knowledge, Monarch. And he can wield the blade.
I can wield the blade, but I was born and raised with the mind sight set to see the past and future, and then told, "Here, have this blade." I touch it, boom, my mind got blown. I never want to touch it again, but then they strapped it to my back, and oh great, the mind blower's on my back. What am I supposed to do with this? Practice with it. Are you serious? I grew up in a peaceful village, and you want me to wield a blade that blows minds? It has captured souls inside. Yeah, so I'm not surprised he can wield this thing.
It's your choice if you let this information hurt you. But in your situation, I would be relieved to know. Now, there's no need to keep any more secrets.
I'm so confused right now. Was Sylvie helping us or trying to hurt us? I can see how he might think that Ulrich's past would harm us, our trust. But I can also see how sharing this information would help us out. Furthermore, the way Ulrich handled the situation was extremely professional. Under any other circumstance, I might have taken this information badly. But he's right. It's in the past. He's gone on to prove his loyalty to me. The happenings in Alarenthia finally make full sense to me. Yeah, but I was still dishonest. I was so... maybe it's just a personal thing. Maybe I'm just letting this personally on myself. Because yes, it did help us. But dishonesty is so embedded. Like, I hate dishonesty. Anyways. He was securing my trust when this secret came to light. Genius, really. I have to deal with him more later on, though. This conversation had potential to explode, and I'm glad that it didn't. I know Ulrich's real plan, but Pro still remains a wild card. What was he after? I turned to face him. Hi, Pro. And he takes that as a signal that it's his turn to talk. By the way, if you didn't know why I was doing, it's the cracking of the neck. I can't do it constantly. I can do it once every half a day or once every day. But you know, I don't want to keep cracking my neck, because that will really damage it. But let's continue. Ulrich passes the blade back to me, and I place it back in the scabbard. Are you going to teleport it out of my hands too? Pro looks worried. Perhaps his secret was worse than Ulrich's?
Go on. Tell the Monarch, Pro. It's time for him to know, don't you think?
He swallows very audibly. It's so loud I can call it a gulp. I don't know why people do that. I know you see it in anime and stuff, but to read it, it just sounds cringy. He gulps. Whoa. It just sounds so odd before speaking.
So, I guess I'll start from the beginning. My parents abandoned me. They didn't die in the occupation like I tell everybody. I've always wanted to know one thing. Why? None of my searches gave me any useful information, so over time I grew more and more desperate. One day, the Triumvirate reached out to me.
He looks down ashamed.
They said they knew the truth about my parents, but in exchange, they wanted me to give them information. Details about the rebellion. It seemed like a harmless exchange.
Pro was the mole.
But over time, they started to ask for more and more. I gave them so many secrets, but got nothing in return. It wasn't much longer before I quit. I had enough of their lies.
But the damage was already done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was the last thing you leaked to them, Pro?
The location of our new HQ. The tunnels. It was a good hideout, right under their noses. They'd never find it, unless somebody told them.
I'm shocked to my core. If Pro leaked our location, then that means
That's right. Pro is responsible. His leak enabled us to attack you in Mazeo. All of those lives, the blood is on his hands.
Gosh dang you, Pro.
No! Like I said, I quit. They lied to me. They knew nothing about my parents. All they wanted was somebody gullible enough to serve them.
It doesn't change what happened, Pro. Now, Monarch, how do you take this?
Heavily on my heart, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Hey, I proved my loyalty. Just like Ulrich. I put my life on the line to serve the rebellion. There was no guarantee we'd survive the Colosseum.
That is true. Because they had to have the right moments in order to fake it. If they didn't get contact, and then Draku and or Vivian got in contact with one another, they were doing it honorably, for the way it's intended. You guys had an act. That was true. I knew everything was too good to be true. The real reason they did what they did were all self-serving. It was so they could defend themselves as they were exposed. With our ulterior motive like that, with an interior, were they really trustworthy? Ulrich's past was easy to forgive, but what Pro did to all of us, I have no idea how to react. Sylvia was fighting a war on my mind.
Look, I made up for what I did. All those lives we lost, we got them back, and more. Our Alarinthian allies will help us win this war, hands down.
I nod, acknowledging this point. But I need more time to think about this. If they had secrets, did my other comrades too? I'm starting to doubt the loyalty of everybody around me. I need to stop. That's probably what Sophie wants me to do. I'd need to ensure everybody's loyalty before we leave to Alteus. Ulrich was the previous Grand Inquisitor. Pro was a mole responsible for the attack on Mazeo. How was I supposed to deal with this right before the final battle? I asked Ulrich and Pro to leave me alone with Sophie. We get some rest and meet on the deck in the morning. One big gathering before we arrive in Mazeo would help. I could see the worry on their faces. I tell them I'm not throwing them away. As they leave, the worry is still there, however. The secrets were finally out. I don't know if anyone else knew, but I guess I was enough. I am in charge. The scrawny seer boy from... What's the name of our place again? I turn back to Sophie, who crosses his arms.
So much dishonesty in the air. Wouldn't you agree? I want you to look at your comrades, and then look at me.
Then back at your comments,
Unlike
and then back
them,
at me.
I've been nothing but honest with you.
Look at your comments, then look at me. Look at your comments, and then back at me. I have a deodorant. You want some? I smell better than your comments.
I would rather have an honest enemy than a cheating friend. That's part of why I wanted to talk with you, Monarch. I know that we can be open with one another.
We'll see how things turn out, man. I shake my head, unsure of how to respond. I tell him that I need some rest, some time alone. So much was happening all at once. I needed a break.
Very well. We're meeting on the deck come morning, then? I'll make sure to be on my best behavior. I respect you, Monarch. I always told myself that I'd serve the rightful rulers of this world. It just seemed like I was also lied to by the Triumvirate. Just like Ulrich. Just like Pro. We're victims here. all of us. I may have realized it late, but was it too late? I guess we'll see.
Yeah. His attitude seems to have changed now that we're alone. And for the first time, I can sympathize with him. He's hurt and lost. Just like all of us. We're just trying to do what we believe is right. I tell him that he's free to join us in the meeting in the morning. But everybody will be told who he is. It'll be up to them to decide how they take it. If the majority of my comrades want him gone, then we'll have to part ways in Mazeo.
Very well. It's only fair. Have a good rest, Monarch.
You too. Even if you're an enemy, some words that someone I met still ring true to me. I still treat my enemies with kindness. He bows to me, and I turn to leave the cell. I make sure it's locked tight. He'd be let out in the morning. For now, I needed to be alone with my thoughts. I needed to process everything. And we'll leave it off there. This was definitely longer. This is a 40-minute one. But holy crap, there was no break. But the story still is good. And thank you guys for watching through it. Some people actually, including myself, don't mind if some videos are longer. The thing is to find time in this quarantine time at the moment. Just so you know, this is the time of COVID-19 or the pandemic that's been happening. So, yeah. But sorry for the long video, except for those of you that actually enjoy and don't mind if it's long. So thank you guys for stopping by and enjoying the story with me. And until I see you guys again, have a great day, everyone.